graduate will now present a special award and bring the closing remarks. Ms. Terry.
Wow. I am speechless, which never happens to me. I'm going to be honest, I never thought in a million years that this night could possibly make me feel the feelings that I'm feeling. Graduating class of 2005, we did. And now I stand before you honored to address you as a body of peers and friends. You know, those who fought for times like this during the civil rights and women's movements must have prayed that someone like me could have at least one opportunity in a lifetime to address such a diverse crowd as yourself in a ceremony of this caliber. All of you, family, friends, and fellow graduates. I'm also sure that they prayed that I wouldn't be long-winded, so I'm going to try to be brief. I would, however, like for you to feel as if we were having a conversation. And in the midst of this conversation, you asked me a question, which is, travesty, what does this degree mean to you? Well, I'm going to answer your question in a story about how this night, this moment, is making me feel. When my husband and I found out for the first time that we were pregnant, no amount of anticipation could have prepared us for the moment that the doctor came in and asked, what would you like, a boy or a girl? Now, we looked at each other, and I can't speak for him, but I wanted to pass out because there were so many emotions running through me, kind of like what I'm having tonight. I was happy, I was sad, I was afraid. But after the initial shock passed, something inside of me rose to the challenge. I began getting to bed on time most of the time and eating everything in sight all of the time. And although I got to taste some really good food, those 38 weeks seemed like they were the longest of my life. Day in and day out, I passed the time away by reading mother-to-be books, doing doctor-recommended exercises, and still eating. And although in my heart I understood that I would be rewarded for my diligence, I still grew impatient with every passing minute. As I look back, I'm reminded of something funny Dolly Parton once said. She said, darling, the way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put it with the rain. Well, finally it was time for me to see my rainbow, and it took 16 hours of rain, which rhymes with pain, for it to get here. During those 16 hours, I panted, I prayed, I cried, I wanted to quit, but trust me, there was no turning back at that point. But needless to say, at 10:53 in the morning of August 27th, 1999, my doctor placed in my arms the most beautiful person I had ever seen. She even looked better than me, so you know that had to be good. Anyway, my husband and I looked at each other, again this time with tears in our eyes, not only because we were happy, but because in that instance we realized that we had been handed the biggest responsibility that the world could offer and only God can give, a life. Man, talk about a wake-up call. I mean, it made me realize how small I actually am in the bigger scheme of things, and that I'm just a worker in the circle of life. We all are. Now, I've told you this story so that you can see how much responsibility is being placed in our hands with the reception of the rewards that we're being given tonight. You know, just like the ritual I performed when the doctor handed me my new baby girl, I counted her fingers and I counted her toes. When we receive our degrees, we'll do the same thing. We'll look at them with awe and amazement, check them several times to make sure our names are spelled correctly, and if our names are not spelled correctly, you know we're going to call somebody back at the school. The funny thing is that although each one of us has identical signatures and casings for our diplomas, ours is the one that matters most to us. But now I have a question. What will you do with it? I mean, it's evident that some of us will use them to go into the four-year institutions of our choices, and some of us will use them to enter the workforce or possibly advance in our current positions. But fellow graduates, the responsibility I speak of is not to ourselves, for we know what it takes to be successful. The responsibility I speak of is to our community. Barbara Walters once said, to excel is to reach your own highest stream, but you must also help others where and when you can to reach theirs. Personal gain is empty if you do not feel you've positively touched another's life. Let me give you an example. When my husband and I were finally able to take our daughter home from the hospital, we understood that we were obligated to provide her with food, shelter, and clothing. The other things that we gave to her, such as reading to her every night, loving her, kissing her, sometimes with love pats, all those things were duties that we chose to give her. We could have easily done our parts in raising her without doing any of those things. Now, we may have a different daughter than we have today, but it was still our choice to make. And in making those decisions, not only has it made us better parents and people, the important factor is that we have laid a foundation of success in her life. The same holds true with our degrees. We'll take them home and do whatever we decide to do with them, but is that all? I mean, we can use them when they suit our needs best, but we will gain more if we use the knowledge which led to the reception of our degrees by giving to those who need us, thereby leaving a legacy of success. The best gift that we can give to others and ourselves is the knowledge that although we have gained and will continue to excel, we will make it our duty to empower our communities through patience and service. Let us continue the legacy that those who came before us fought and died for, which gave us the rights and opportunities that we now claim, so that those who come after us will have the same, if not better, opportunities than we have, and can prolong the ability to stand before a body of their peers as I now have. Give them a voice so that they too can say, we did it, and then question where their responsibilities lie. And now that I've made my main point, I won't keep you any longer. I know y'all ready to go home, right? But I would like to leave you with one final quote by a famous philosopher, teacher, and a man of great stature, Yoda. May the force be with you. Good night.